What's up YouTube, and welcome to Desi Dad Reviews. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the full review of the Lenovo Smart Clock, so let's get started. Now Lenovo designed this to be one of the last pieces of tech you see before you go to bed at night, and one of the first pieces of tech you see when you wake up in the morning. And they didn't really overcomplicate things. There aren't a lot of buttons to push, a lot of menus to go through, or setup screens to go through. There's not even a lot of inputs and outputs on the back of the device. But just because it's really simple to use doesn't mean it lacks features. So let's start with the front of the device. The display is a 4-inch 480 by 800 IPS display. Now compared to a modern day smartphone which has a larger and higher resolution screen, the Lenovo Smart Clock isn't exactly class leading with the display tech. But don't count this device out just yet. The smaller screen just translates to it not taking up too much of your nightstand or home office. And the lower resolution isn't really noticeable if you're spending most of your time on the clock face. There are also not one, but two microphones, and they're incredibly powerful. In my week of testing, the microphones worked flawlessly. Not only did it pick up my voice signature, but it also picked up my wife's voice signature as well. But I did notice that if you have multiple Google Assistant devices nearby, the Lenovo Smart Clock doesn't actually pick up your voice signature nearly as well. Now, Google did release a recent update that allows you to adjust the wake sensitivity for Google Assistant devices, but Lenovo hasn't exactly authorized that control just yet. Now, I'm hopeful that in the near future, Lenovo adjusts this by allowing a software update so that you can adjust the wake sensitivity on your Lenovo Smart Clock. Going over to the top, the Smart Clock has really tactile rubberized rockers that have a satisfying clicky feel. And finally, moving to the back, the Smart Clock rocks a microphone on-off toggle for extra privacy and a USB Type-A charging port. I did test out whether that USB port supports any form of fast charging, but unfortunately it does not. You will be limited to a regular charging speed similar to if you would plug this into a computer or a laptop. Now let's dive into the user interface. If you've ever used a smartphone or tablet, this device will be second nature to you. Swiping over to the left gets you to the alarm screen, the weather, a synced music provider, and even your calendar if you've linked it to your device. Now to get back, there are a few options. You can swipe over to the right, like this, or you can just hang out and the Smart Clock will automatically go back to the clock face. Swiping down from the top, you can set alarms, activate a routine or a nap timer depending on the time of day, play some music, or even control smart home devices if they're in the same room. Swiping up from the bottom gets you access to brightness, volume control, do not disturb, and the settings for the Lenovo Smart Clock. The brightness on this screen is plenty, and it comes preset to automatically dim. Now during the day, I could see the clock from anywhere in the room, and during the night, the Lenovo Smart Clock dimmed down to a level where it didn't really light up the whole room. This was perfect for me because I felt that if it dimmed down to that level, it wasn't blaring light in my face and it didn't make it difficult for me to fall back asleep like I would with other alarm clocks. Now, if you wanted to go a step further, you can turn the screen off, but you have to ask Google Assistant to do so. Finally, clicking and holding on the clock screen will allow you to change the clock face. You can choose one of the clock faces that they have, and even adjust it to a color scheme of your choosing. You can even use Google Photos as your clock background, but that will reduce the size of the font and it may make your device run hot to the touch. When it comes to the clock faces, there are limited choices, but I did find the selection to be enough. Now you can't download any external clock faces like downloading it from Lenovo's website or from a third party, so that is the unfortunate side of things. But personally, I like the retro clock face. It has a nice old school vibe, and it makes the font a lot bigger so it helps me see it from across the room. So what exactly can the Lenovo Smart Clock actually do? Well, quite a bit. Let's start with one of my favorite things about it, the alarm screen. The alarm screen is really easy to use, and it gives you the ability to set up alarms for different combinations of days. It's perfect for those of you who have rotating schedules and want the freedom to wake up at different times during the week. You can even change the alarm tone, set it to gently brighten the screen, and even activate a good morning routine as it goes off. And turning the alarm off is quite satisfying. You can give it a good tap on top between the volume rockers, or just tell the smart clock to stop. And if you're like me and you just need those extra few minutes in the morning to wake up, you can actually use your voice to ask Google Assistant to snooze the alarm. Also, if you're looking to wake up to your favorite selection of music, you can set up a music alarm, but you'll have to ask Google Assistant to do so. Speaking of music, this thing is plenty powerful. With 3 watts of power, it can get really loud, and the audio isn't actually bad for its size. But when you are going to compare it to something like a Google Nest Mini, you'll notice it lacks a lot of the same punch and a lot of the same clarity that you can get on other devices. Here, take a listen. Now there are 2 ways to get audio to your Lenovo Smart Clock. The first way is using the inbuilt screen, but I don't recommend that because you're limited to the synced music provider you synced when you set up the device. The second way is actually using Google Chromecast. Open up your favorite streaming service, click on the Chromecast icon, and select the Lenovo Smart Clock, and it's going to work awesome. Smart home control is also incredibly useful. You can use Google Assistant control not only your smart home devices like lighting, thermostat, or even smart door locks, but you can do so much more with it, and Google is constantly adding partners to its service. So for all of these features packed into such a tiny form factor, how much does something like this actually cost? Well, it retails for about $80 US, but I recommend waiting for when it goes on sale. It can go as low as $40 US, and if you can reach that price point or even beat it, I definitely recommend jumping in on it. I recommend this product to anyone looking to upgrade their regular alarm clock to something with a little bit more smarts behind it, especially if they have other Google Assistant devices within the home. However, if you're looking to remove the screen just because you need better audio and you wanted a dedicated speaker with Google Assistant built inside, I recommend going to the Google Nest Mini. And if you're someone looking for a larger screen, a front-facing camera, and the ability to watch videos or watch YouTube videos just like this one, you're going to want to step up to a Nest Hub or Nest Hub Max. That'll give you those features that you're looking for, but it will come at a higher price point. All in all, I have to say this product worked perfectly. It fit right into my family's needs, and because it's an alarm clock that has Google Assistant built inside, and we have other devices that have Google Assistant, it worked perfectly. The voice commands went through without a hitch, and I recommend this to anyone looking for an entry into a smart home lifestyle. And this marks the end of the Lenovo Smart Clock full review. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Now, if you're interested in watching the unboxing, check it out right here. And if you're looking to find more tech reviews from Desi Dad Reviews, check out this playlist. But until next time, this is Desi Dad Reviews signing out.